young, it doesn't know me. It's looking at my kids like a boss.
And of course, like you heard on the decks on the ones and twos, it's DJ Jow. DJ Joe Mfalme, of course, started from 6 up until 9. So if you're just joining us, you're well in time. The party continues and it gets even more lit right here on the show. As always, at K24 TV, so you can get us and get all of the action that's happening there as well. But now, it's time for us to get up close and personal. And this time around, we have a Sebo who came to Kenya through New Delhi, right. Doesn't have a Ugandan accent, nor an Indian accent, and right here he is. And he has so many jobs. You know, it's so funny, you ask this guy, what is it that you do? Because you're on radio, you've been on TV, you're on stages, you're on billboards, you're writing, you're what do you do? He's known as Mr. Yafesi Musoke. He's a writer and artist. That's what he says he does. So when you walk into a room, you're like, hi, I'm an artist. That's what I do.
In fact, I just say hi. And I don't even bother going into the rest because I'll forget. I'll say one thing and then they're like, oh, okay, I have a job for you. I'm like, no, that's not what I do. Yeah.
But for you, was that always the plan to go out and entertain? Because for guys who don't know Yafesi, what they see on stage and what you get when you walk into the room, it's exactly the same thing. It's as in there's no like stage character Yafesi or stage character Yafesi. It's just one and the same.
Actually, you'd be surprised. I am kind of an introvert. Okay, so I'll be like that. Right. But it wasn't always the plan. It's just that I've always ended up on stage. I found it easy to be on stage from when I was 3 years old. Just get up in front of people and entertain them.
Right.
So nursery school, I had a role as a doctor in a musical. Although I wore my own things because I didn't know what doctors were. And then
you didn't get the white coat?
No, I didn't get the white coat. But I had a sweater with clips that and I was told it's a parachute jacket. So I was like, hey,
why did a doctor need a parachute jacket?
You know what? I was in nursery school. So yeah. And then my first role, of course, was as a dying squirrel.
So your role was to die?
Yes, and I died the best. Out of all the 12 squirrels, I was the best dying squirrel. And that's where it started.
And as you progressed and, as you're seeing what people are doing and where you can get money, you went to Daystar University.
Yeah.
What was the plan there? Most people didn't think when you go to those sides of Lukenya,
yes,
you're going to study theology.
Well, there's dust over there. Well, there's communication and theology and all that, but I had gone there specifically to get away from the arts.
Oh, really?
I had thought, because I had always been on stage. Even in school, I thought I was going to be a doctor up until A-level. Then I was like, you know what? I may enjoy, because I'd seen my uncle as a doctor, and he also makes people laugh. So I thought, that's what I'm going to be, a doctor who makes people laugh. And I was like, okay, people are laughing, but I just actually don't want to treat them. I don't want to be touching blood and things like that. So I ended up going to Daystar thinking, so I did a BCom, marketing. So I was like, going to be a serious student. So I went for one of those marketing students meetings. They had moved it without telling us, and instead there were drama people there who told me to audition. I auditioned, just because, it was rude not to. And I ended up being the chairman of the club.
Wow.
Because they were graduating and they wanted to dump the club on someone.
So running away from the arts, find yourself back in acting again.
Yep.
Okay, so you get the undergrad for marketing.
Yeah.
Did you get the serious job like you wanted? Did you become serious Mr. Musoke?
I started that way, selling phones. I used to sell phones. They were internet phones. You know the first time where you see those two luminous signs, calling the US 4 bob a minute. Now those are the phones that were being introduced. Hey, so now just when we're about to close all the deals and we're like, we've counted that commission, the government says, first, this is subject to some regulations. So let's first deal with that, then we'll worry about how these things are sold. So all that work, so we left that job owing the boss money. Yeah, that's when I realized maybe this is not for me, and so I ended up in radio instead. Yeah, and it just
from
went
there. You just realized this is your groove.
I may as well.
To go into radio.
Yes.
And for a person who's done radio, you've done TV, you've been on all these billboards.
Yeah.
Do you still audition? Do you still go and they ask you, can you come and cast?
Every single, guys think you're handed these jobs. The most someone can do is recommend you for an audition. You still have to audition, and it's competitive, so you have to bring your A game to every single audition. There are many other people trying for the same thing. So they might have a preference. They say, okay, that guy, we know how his work ethic or his look, his shiny head helps the reflectors.
Facial expressions.
But you still have to audition.
Right.
It's not just you walk in and I'm like, I'm here, oh, you have the job, whoop, whoop. No.
So you still have to go in line next.
Yes.
They come out, Yafesi, please come and do your thing.
Yes.
For a person who's been in this for quite a while, you've seen you do different roles. What's the one thing that you'd say in terms of skill, or in terms of the one thing you have to do every single day to make sure you're at the top of your trade? Is it the auditions that you're talking about?
Yeah.
As a writer, is it writing every day? Is it reading?
Actually, it's all of them. So you have, if you're a writer, the thing with I like telling guys, writer means you're currently doing it. So there's no such thing as an aspiring writer. You're either writing or you're
Or
not.
not.
So every day you get some practice in, and then you observe people. Just watch people, interact with them, so that it's realistic. You're not doing things you saw in a movie or you saw on TV. I meet a lot of writers who are like, oh yeah, like that scene in IT, the one, yeah, Stephen King's IT movie, the one that's coming.
Right.
Yes. So, I saw something like, yeah, in that movie. No. Observe people. How does your auntie, how does your mom, how does your bro, how do they respond to situations? How do you respond? And that's how you become a better actor, you become a better writer. Even when you're reading, you're able to know, this one has pulled this from somewhere else, and you're able to know, okay, if I was in this situation, how would I do that? So you read people,
Right.
watch. There's a lot going on.
Right. A lot
Truth
of
is
observation
stranger than
takes place.
fiction. Yeah.
Hey. And even as you're doing all of this, because at the end of the day, it has to make sense financially somehow.
Yes.
Do you have a 9 to 5, or is this the 9 to 5?
9 to 5 is a strong term because it depends on which 9. There's 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. There's
And 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
It's mishmashed. It starts at 6 a.m. and could end at 2 a.m.
So this is the main thing. There's no, like, I have an office job and then when I'm not doing that,
Yeah.
I'm writing it on stage.
Actually, the office job is writing. So it's a very unglamorous thing. You're behind the scenes, no one sees what you're doing. You can be there typing for 22 hours straight, no one knows. They're just waiting to see the show. Then after the show is up there, that's when they're like, hey, wait, you write for me another one. You're looking at like, it took me 3 years to write this, you tell me to write another one.
And for a job like this that, like you're saying, is not as glamorous, it's not out there, for us, you said there's nothing like an aspiring writer. There are writers and those who aren't writing. For writers, how do they get to the space where you can actually make it your business? It's paying the bills because you have family as well.
Yes.
If you're sitting there writing something for 22 hours, there had better be something at the end of this.
Yes.
How do you make it work as a business case?
You can try, because for me, when I started writing, I didn't even know how to write. So I went on set for a TV series. I auditioned, got a small role. Then when I got the script, I observed how it's done. Then I asked questions when I'm not shooting. I asked different people, okay, what's your role? And the guy tells me, okay, my job is to do this and this. So you get to learn what people do in order for the whole thing to make money. And so now that when you're writing, you partner with the people who would. So you have in place the team that will make it all make sense. Because if you're writing and then following up on this, following up on that, and then acting also and doing this, you will spread yourself too thin, you won't make anything. So partner with guys. People are afraid of partnerships because everyone wants, it's all mine. The way that lady who found the 60K. Mine. But really, there's a bigger picture. The person who lost it, that's a big deal to them. And for you, it's just, so you can't just go eating.
Right.
Find a way to build something bigger. Because it's because I've seen for myself, my writing has helped a lot of people get to a higher profile, to get to bigger platforms. And then they turn around and they're like, hey, by the way, I've worked with this guy. And they call you and it keeps paying back.
Right.
Yeah.
And for you, because your better half, some would argue the best half, of this equation. It's also in the creative space. She's also doing this as well. Some people usually say it's easier when one is a creative and other has the stable income. So when the writing gig isn't there, we're falling back on this.
Yeah.
When both of you are in this space, how does it work, at a family front?
Well, first, we're both creatives, yes, but we are different kinds of creatives. So there are things she focuses on that I don't. Like for me, you'd be surprised. My first priority is not to be on screen.
Right.
I end up on screen because people look at my facial expressions. They're like, that one we should use it. You can raise an eyebrow. You can raise the other one. Like there's a guy who came to me. He found me doing funny things with my shoulders, and he thought it was a computer trick because I'd done it in an audition tape. So he told me, do it. Do it again. So I'm over there standing in front of people doing this with my shoulders. He's like, good. Yes, tell him to do that. So I end up there by default. But for her, she actually she's even an award-winning actor.
If you do say so yourself.
Yes, I don't like bragging about it, but she does, so I'll do it on her behalf. But we also agree. We have to actually sit down and agree. I'm doing this, you're doing this. For how long are we doing this? And what do we expect from it? So you have to be deliberate. And then on top of that, we do get people to okay, we need someone to deal with this side of the production. We get that. The tech side or this. So we still partner with people. If we do it ourselves, we'll be frustrated together. And even if we prosper, capacity, there are guys who will be like, it's only the two of you. Yeah, so we also, because we have the same mindset, like want to promote other people, to uplift others, because that also uplifts us. Yeah, so
that's how it happens. And the young ones?
The young ones.
How's that going?
Our parents did not warn us about some things.
Right.
Anyway, but we don't, generally, like, a lot of guys ask, are they also going to go into acting? Are they also going to be artists?
You don't take them for the auditions like there's a child role, let's see if
the
boy's going to get this one, no?
I mean, they've done it once before, but they're not, each of them has their own personality. So we don't force them into anything. If they have they're leaning towards that, fine, we'll encourage them, but we don't force them because they have other interests. Kids nowadays have their own interests, and they're not impressed by their parents.
And of course, we have some pictures as well that we'll be having up on screen as well. Here we go.
Hey!
I always say if Kenya had scandals and scams, this is the biggest scam ever. Because you see this crew here, they go on stage, they do a show.
Yes.
You might think they rehearsed for this thing, but if you find this guy sitting having coffee, that's the exact same thing they're doing. They just now have an audience in front of them.
Yeah.
Why did all of this? This is a gang of madness. Or the only person missing here I think is June. I can't see
June was missing
photo.
from this picture.
She's probably the one taking the photo.
No, she was greeting her fans.
Or she was doing my fans.
Yes. So there's June, there's Patricia there, Justo, Jason, K1, and Mugambi. This is because you said so. Improv comedy. No script, no rehearsal. We've been doing it for 5 years. We celebrated 5 years this year in June. Yeah. So it's these guys are like this is a family. These guys are just family.
Right.
We don't rehearse, but we hang out, get to know how each other is doing. So when you're on stage, you know, Nani's going through a rough patch. So we back them up more when they get up. And this one is having, this one is a good,
let them run with it.
Let them run with it like that. So that's how we.
Look at this.
I think you recognize that girl. That's from an advert we did sometime. Yeah, this one, by the way, she's a superstar. You look out for her. She's called Shekinah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so now I think we're the ones who did this face up thing first.
Evidently.
Yeah, but this is real. This is not an effect. This is, me and wifey, we just decided, it's what? We used some of the silver nini, to our good. Oh yeah, radio.
Radio days?
Yes, I was on radio for 6 years.
Do you miss that?
Sometimes I do miss it because you're able to be an introvert and an extrovert at the same time.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, Yafesi.
Yeah,
Yafesi.
I was actually emceeing an event, and the theme had to do with retro.
So why were you at the booth?
The theme was retro, so there was a booth there. I was like, why not?
Why not?
Why not? Yeah, I mean, you post there. We used to wait for phone calls like that.
You're waiting for the reverse call.
Yes.
You've done your thing.
Yeah. I'll spare my ribs. The one you were showing just now, the one they're coming this Sunday. This was the first one. And there were 2 of us who did it. There was Brian Onjoro and myself. So each of us had an hour. I did a set for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Stand-up comedy. Here,
that's when you realize 60 minutes is real.
60 minutes is a long time, but it's also a short time because I really enjoyed it. Yeah. And this is, of course, still BYSS. I was taking the lead on some madness, but yeah. And there's more madness. That was from a photo shoot from BYSS. Yes. And radio again, with Justo. I was interviewing him at the time. That was just some Akalus Kazadi.
Right? It's just cooking. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, wow. A lip sync battle. That was my Mbalas. I had to represent to the Mbalas.
I look at this. Oh, look at him.
Me, I was a buju. I don't lie. I was a buju.
Just look at the photo and you're like, oh, I want to pinch those cheeks.
1 year old. I was exactly 1. This was on my birthday. I say I was cute. And then I turned into this. This I can't explain. Yeah. So I grew some facial hair and a gap in my teeth.
Here and you're the cool kid?
I was the cool kid. This was like in 2009. This is deep in the moment. The feels, no script, but it's all right. The feels are still as real.
Oh my goodness.
High school.
Was that baby dreads phase? Because looking at it now, clearly things changed.
This was in Sarafina. Things changed. No, I just decided to give my head a bit more presence. Yeah. These are just randomness. This is just randomness that I do on stage. Anything can happen.
Right.
When there's no script, anything can happen.
Look at that.
Just cuteness. Hey, check those guembes. You guy. That's quite muscular. But yeah, that's how I first did the Carlton dance. Yeah.
You were the one out,
I
out
invented
there.
it as
Before he knew what he was doing.
My
You were
claim to
there.
fame. I did the Carlton dance. He just came and did it. Although now he's patenting it. So by the Carlton, imagine.
You were there
just
before.
An example. But I was
You
there
were there
before.
before.
Yeah.
And for a person who, like we see, for most people, when they're relaxing and, you know, looking for a place to get entertained, you're on stage. You're the one busy entertaining.
Yes.
When it's time for Yafesi to relax, it's like, yo, it's been a busy year. We've done really well. How do you, wind down? You're not about to sit and watch a play. You might start critiquing the play or the writer should have said and done. How do you relax?
In fact, I avoid things like movies and all that because I'll just be at work. So I play the guitar. I listen to music a lot. Or I jog or exercise. That just gets my mind off some stuff and I get to spend some me time.
Get yourself centered again.
Yes.
Speaking of the centering, before you do that, there's a big special coming up soon. You're about to do a one-man.
Hey!
Is that happening?
Imagine, I'm thinking of doing a one-man show, a one-man comedy show. So that's probably early November or late October, most likely early November.
Right.
That's the plan.
Right.
Nervous? Well,
Okay. Have you started writing the
Oh
sets,
yeah.
the
Material, it's all happening all the time. So I have to keep updating, and I have to have a little somewhere where I write it before I forget. Hey, because the things that happen to me. Wait, do you know I am Murphy? You know Murphy's law. Anything that can go wrong, like in a supermarket,
if it will go wrong, it happens to you.
You go to the till, and that's the one that hangs. But your password. The number of times I've had password. You go to the bank and that's when they have a stomach problem. They have to rush. You go in traffic, you move this way, this is the lane that moves. So I figured I am Murphy because it happens to me more than anyone. So I've shut down tills. I even went, the last time I went to a barber shop, I shut down the barber shop. Because the guy started the machine on, you're going to say there's nothing to Nini.
Clearly.
There was some masharubus. But then when he started with the machine, the whole Nini short-circuited. The TV went off, all the machines, blew. I had to be taken to another one to complete the job. So you're walking across half-shaven to go to another barber shop.
To get it done.
I am Murphy.
You can see Joe already is now nervous because it's like, if this guy has that bad luck, I don't want him to come to my decks because we know what's going to happen. Yeah, let's move closer to the decks right here.
All right.
If you, just for example, on improv, if you are a DJ, what would your stage name be? What would your DJ name be?
DJ Y-Face.
Bas. Y-Face.
Yeah, Y-Face.
Would you have like, what would be your tagline? DJ Y-Face, like
Y-Face. Bridging the gap between the music and you. So gonna gap.
I can see clearly. Y-Face, bridging the gap between